Hello, I'm Adam Barralet and welcome to this Crystal Connections video. We're exploring the crystal Selenite. Selenite gets its name from the Greek goddess Selene, who was the goddess of the moon. And when you catch the light on Selenite, you can kind of see how it has this vibroactive effect that kind of gives it that lunar shine. Selenite, being so connected to the moon, helps us to connect with our spiritual self and a more magical self. So it's a really good crystal to use whenever that is the focus in your life. The most popular use for selenite is for cleansing. You can use it to cleanse any aspect of your life, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. It helps remove toxic influence out of your life so that you can proceed along your path. There are a couple of ways that I really like to use selenite and use it regularly when it comes to cleansing. The first one is after doing a house cleansing. Now, one thing to think about when you do your house cleansing, a lot of people will go around the house and cleanse it with their sage, and that's where they stop. The problem is there that you haven't invited in new energies and that you almost have a vacuum and you end up getting the same as what you had a few weeks ago. It'll end up coming back in. Now, how to do a full house cleansing is quite comprehensive. That's a whole different video. But if you do want to read about it, then check out my book Crystal Connections, and on the selenite chapter that's in here, it'll actually talk about how to do a full house cleansing. Now, once you've done that, what you want to do is you want to seal and keep that energy how it is. And so that's where you use selenite. And I have these 4 little selenite towers that sit in the 4 corners of my house. What they do is they act like air filters. So as air filters cleanse the air, selenite cleanses the energy of the area. And so it keeps on cleansing that energy and removing any toxic influences and keeping that house cleansing influence for a lot longer. Now, the other ways that I use selenite quite a lot is I have a selenite wand, this selenite wand in fact, at the front of my house. Have you ever had one of those evenings where someone comes home and you can tell they're in a bad mood and you're thinking, great, now I'm about to pay for the bad day they've had, and they drag all their rubbish and their baggage inside. Now, I don't want to be that person, and I don't want other people to be that person in my home or my sanctuary. So what I'll do when I get home is I pick up my wand and I'll just kind of run it over my auric field about 5 to 10 centimeters, a couple of inches over, and just kind of sweep off the unwanted influences of the day. So when I walk into my home, into my sanctuary, I'm feeling cleansed, I'm feeling purified, and I leave all that rubbish at the front door. And the people that I like to spend the evening with aren't actually stuck with dealing with my bad day or those influences that I don't want to carry on any longer. This is also a really good one to use for any kind of healings, if you're doing chakra balancing, or if you're any kind of healer, whether it be Reiki, kinesiology, crystal therapy. Grab yourself a selenite wand and just use that to start and to finish your healing sessions, and it kind of seals and purifies all the work that you've been done or been doing. Now, if you'd really like to work with selenite to cleanse your life a lot more, to cleanse yourself, to cleanse your body, all your different auric fields, and also your space, I also have a meditation on my Crystal Connections yellow CD. It's a cleanse with selenite. And that takes you through all the 4 aspects of your life and then cleansing your space as well. It's a really enjoyable one. I really like that one. It's one of my favorites. Sometimes I feel that people just treat selenite as a cleansing crystal, but it's so much more than that, especially when you use it for your spiritual pursuits, because it helps to remove all the things that hold you back. I sometimes describe it as being a crystal of personal purity, and the analogy I use to describe that is the lotus flower. Now, if you were to take a lotus flower and then get 5 litres of vinegar and pour it all over the lotus flower, what would it smell like? Or if you get the most finest perfume, say Chanel No. 5 or something like that, and pour that all over the lotus flower, what would it smell like? Regardless of whether it was vinegar or perfume, it would actually just still smell like a lotus flower. A lotus flower is aquaphobic, so it repels any liquids. It kind of just rolls off it like water off a duck's back. And so when you're working with selenite and you have it around in your energy field, it allows you to be just like that lotus flower. So when people throw vinegar at you, in the way of insults or criticisms or negative comments, it just rolls off you. It doesn't affect you. But also when people shower you in perfume, in the way of compliments and embellishments, that doesn't affect you either. And sometimes I have students say, hold on. Shouldn't I be listening to the compliments and taking them on board? But there's a couple of problems with when you do that. First of all, if you get too much compliments and too much praise, what happens? Think of, A-class celebrities and sports players and rock stars and things like that. It can go to their head and they fall out of balance. The other danger is, even if you're not an A-class celebrity, then when you start listening and looking for those compliments and that praise from other people, so we start chasing the perfume and avoiding the vinegar, we start living our life for other people, trying to get the good and avoid the bad, and we stop listening to ourselves. So selenite helps you to stop listening to what other people's opinions are, because there will always be some people that like you and some people that don't. But selenite helps you listen to yourself and make sure that you're listening to what your soul wants, what your spirit wants, and that you learn to like yourself. And that is probably the most important thing we can do when wanting to work spiritually. As you start to work with selenite more and build that relationship with it, you'll find that spiritually you're able to connect with your guides, your guardian angels, spirit, and whatever else that you work with a lot more ease. Selenite helps to cleanse away all those grudges, all those ill feelings and all those low vibration things that drag us down. And when we stop listening to the other people and their opinions and start listening to ourselves, we also open up to hear contact from spirit as well. So this is a really nice crystal to meditate with whenever you want to make contact with any of your guides or your guardian angels. When you're working with selenite, what you want to do is you want to bring in other energies that really harmonize with selenite to help amplify any work that you're doing. In most of my videos, you'll notice at this point I actually talk about how to cleanse the crystal, but selenite is one of the few that doesn't need that cleansing because it's a cleansing and purification crystal. It cleanses itself. In fact, sometimes if you want a crystal to have another crystal, to have a nice gentle and lunar kind of energy, you can actually pop your crystals on your selenite. Now, the animal guide that I connect with, the main one is the polar bear. Now, polar bear has that white fur. White is the color of purity. And polar bear being such a strong animal, he teaches you how the strength and the power of remaining pure and loyal to yourself and not being influenced by other things. Not becoming, I guess, taking on those toxic influences that take us off our path. So he teaches you how to be strong, how to be powerful. And you'll notice that most of the time, polar bear is a solitary animal. So how to go out on your own and how to feel really strong and powerful. Now, what I like to do when I'm meditating with my selenite is, as well as studying the polar bear and taking on those traits and adopting those traits, I'll close my eyes. I'll visualize myself. A lot of the time I go to being up in the Arctic covered in snow, which is also a very purifying kind of element. I see the full moon above me and I hold my selenite, and then I invite polar bear to come and commune with me, and we talk about whatever I need guidance with at the time, and he shares his wisdom with me. Occasionally, just recently, and especially even today when I was working with my selenite, I found the snowy owl also came through as well, which is very much about wisdom and spiritual wisdom. So selenite, the more you work with it, snowy owl might come through for you as well. So work with these two animals and take their lessons on when you want to get the most out of your crystal. The plant that I use is a really simple and easy one to use, and that's sage. Sage is great for cleansing, and we use sage smudge sticks all around the world, and it's great to use especially if that's native to where you live. It's really good for cleansing your space, but it's also good for cleansing yourself. And if you've had a really bad day, instead of just using the selenite wand, you might want to smudge yourself with sage as well. Now, if you don't like the smell of a smudge stick, you can get sage essential oil, and you can put that in a spray bottle and just spritz that around either yourself or your home as a bit of a cleansing spray. You can also obviously eat sage and have those cleansing and magical effects as well. When do I work with my selenite the most? On a Monday, because Monday is moon day, ruled by the moon, and so the moon's energy actually influences that day. If you get a full moon on a Monday, then that's a golden day to be working with your selenite, and it's a really powerful and harmonic day to do house cleansing and purifications for yourself and healings for yourself as well. Selenite is such a valuable crystal to have to take out all those outside influences from your life. But a word of warning when it comes to caring for your selenite. Selenite doesn't like water. Now, whereas you can normally put your tumbled stones in water, then selenite, you'll actually find it's not salt, but it's like salt, and it will actually start to lose its shine and start to crumble after time. So never put it in water, and never make an elixir by putting selenite in it either. You'll also find that it's quite soft, so you have to be very gentle with it. And the hard thing about selenite is that it's hard to get in jewelries. I've got this beautiful piece here, but I had to get this made by a lovely friend of mine instead of buying it. So you may find if you want to work with selenite, you might just have to get a little tumbled stone and wear it in a little cage or a little netting or something like that. I'd love to hear your experiences with selenite and what you've actually done with selenite, and whether you've positioned it around your home and what you've felt. That's why we've got the comment section below. So please make sure that you leave a little comment down there and let us know what selenite's contributed to your life, and share with our crystal loving community. I'll also leave the links down there if you're interested in grabbing my book or my CD, or finding out anything else about my work. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that selenite shines in your life and helps to cleanse you and helps you to be a more pure and true to your own soul self. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.